Hi, everybody. Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you and give it a like, a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Now, obviously, we're playing Man City at the Etihad in a few hours' time. What can possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? The side who are currently got the most goals in the Premier League, and they've got the second meanest defence in the Premier League. What can possibly go wrong, my friends? But as we do with every game, come win, lose or draw, come free hit or not a free hit, we put together our starting 11 for you guys to basically disagree with, but give us your starting 11. So rather than just say, it's rubbish, let us know in the comments what your starting 11 is. This is obviously the predicted. We'll have the pre-match and all that type of stuff and the watch along coming very, very shortly in a few hours' time. But as I said, we are at the business end. 5 Premier League games left for us after tonight. Man City, Man United. Obviously, it's the Manchester week this week. And then we've got Brentford. And then we've got Leeds. And then we've got Leicester. And in between that, we've got the 2 legs of the Europa Conference League semi-finals against AZ Alkmaar. And hopefully, in June, a nice trip to Prague with the final. Probably playing Fiorentina. Probably, if we get through. Of course. But as I said, what we try and do is we put together our 11s. Now, as I said, this is in terms of my general thoughts about the game tomorrow, game later on today. I mean, look, it's a game which I was talking to people in our WhatsApp group, and they forgot we were playing. In all honesty, but it's a game which I think is, I hate the expression, a free hit, but it is a free hit, really. It's as long as the worst thing I think if we come away with an absolute tonking, because our goal difference is superior to the bottom 8 or 9, I think, at least. And there is a possibility of maybe potentially having a positive goal difference by the end of the season. We're not going to, but it's at -10 at the moment before we kick off at the Etihad later on. Let's hope it's sort of still in the teens by the time we play Man United on Sunday at 7:00 at night. Horrible time. But then you've got the Monday bank holiday, ain't you? So everyone's going to be half cut anyway before the game. Anyway, so I think it's going to be a damage limitation job, in all honesty. And I think we're going to be set up, and whether you agree or disagree, we're going to be setting up to not concede a lot of goals. And then maybe, in the truest sense, on the counter attack. So with that being said, in goal, easy one, Fabianski is in goal. Simple as. He's the Premier League goalkeeper. He'll be in goal tonight. He'll be in goal on Sunday. And then you'll have Areola back in goal for the European ties. It's the way it works at the moment. Agree or disagree, that's the way it's going to work, isn't it? Now, I think because of this sort of damage limitation job, but also the news that Kurt Zouma is going to be out probably for a couple of weeks at least. If he's back, he'll be towards the end of the month, maybe for the return leg of the conference, maybe the away leg of the conference, maybe the semi-final. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe Leicester, maybe Leeds, maybe the final will be back. Who knows? So I think we're going to go to a back 3 with that on the basis, because I think if you have with a Bonner and a Gerd, I hate that as a combination. And the reason why I hate it is because Gerd is not in a natural position. He's not playing on his left side. And I've said this so often. When you have players playing in the wrong position, we didn't have any left-sided centre-backs last season, it seemed. Everyone was bloody injured. And now we've got too many. In the fact we've got, potentially you could put Cresswell there. You've got a Bonner. You've got a Gerd. Sort of three left-sided centre-backs, really. So, or left-footed centre-backs. So I think we're going to go to a back 3. And I think with that, also what we need is Ogbonna. I could see him being sort of the older statesman, being in the middle, being that sweeper, sorting it all out, and being more of a pillar for the rest of the defence to sit around, basically. So we're going with the right-sided. I think Tilo Kehra's back in. I think we play a back three, and I think Kira would play that right back, right sort of side of the three centre backs. He played against Arsenal in a back two and played really well, considering he's playing against Arsenal, who are the second highest goal scorers in the league. And granted, did score 2 quick goals, but from then on, I thought he played very well. But I thought he comes in, and that's sort of his position. I think he plays well. Right back, I think he's sometimes going to be a bit exposed, but I think that right side of that back three is his preferred position in terms of how I would like to use him. Alongside him, I then bring in Ogbonna. Ogbonna can sit there, he can stand there, and just basically be like Zuma. Zuma's like this sort of brick shithouse, basically, isn't he? He's a blocker. He's not a clever defender. He's not going to put together a 30-yard crossfield ball. He's going to block everything and intercept everything, and just let him just do that. He's not sort of blessed with pace anymore now. So I would just put him there and just see what he can do. Just hang on Haaland and just see what he can do. Do you know what I mean? It's one of these games where I think he is a bit of a free hit. I hate using that expression because it means, I want to get something, but I can't see us getting anything. At most a draw, or even if we keep them out to 60, 70 minutes, I'll be happy with that, to be honest, considering the way they've been playing. We've already done them a favour with drawing with Arsenal. So, you'd think they would, give us one back, but they won't do. And then I would put Aged on that left-hand side. I think that's his preferred position. It may change. You may swap them. Aged might go into the middle as like a sweeper. And then he can sort of dictate the play. He can bring the ball out and ping the balls across, but I prefer on the left. Naturally, I just do. I think particularly with City, with the pace they have, it's like a Riyad Mahrez, for example, down their right hand side. I think Aged would do a match for him. He matched pace with Liverpool with the likes of Salah and Diaz and people like that. Didn't really get a sniff of the game, really, in all honesty. And yeah, I think he had a really rubbish game at the weekend, so I think he's got a lot to improve on in terms of his game. But I think the whole team played poorly last week as well. So if that's the back three, right side, I think it's still Soufal. I wouldn't put Ben Johnson in. He might put Ben Johnson in and give Soufal a rest, but I think he's going to go strong. I still think he's going to go strong. I put out a spreadsheet on Twitter the other day in terms of the madness of April, those 9 games, how many minutes, and I think Dec almost played every minute of the park apart from the 20 minutes he was taken off against Ghent. And a lot of these players, I think Soufal played 8 out of that 9 games. And half dozen, 4 or 5 played every game in those 9. And Soufal, I think, played 8 and a few others. So I think altogether, there's about 8 or 9 players who played at least 8 games in April. And people are going, oh, well, but it's playing, even if it's coming for 20, 25 minutes, you still do the warm up, you still do everything, and it's still like an exhaustion of energy. And I think it's been so crazy. And I know people are saying we need to rest players, but I don't think he will. I genuinely don't think he will. He may do. He may put Ben Johnson in. But I think you put Ben Johnson in, I think you're basically sort of saying, off you go, you can be fodder. And I don't think that's what he does. I just don't think that's what he does. He wins. That's what he does. Anyway, we'll do a 4 across the middle. So I think he's pretty strong. I think he'll keep it strong. I think he'll put Souček in there as sort of the defensive midfielder alongside Rice. Rice will be wanting to make a good impression, being Man City as well. He made a good impression against Liverpool, not so much against Arsenal, not so much against Liverpool in terms of potential suitors. And obviously City could, be a potential suitor as well. So he'll want to have a good game regardless. But I just think he won't. It'd be cool for people to take out Souček and put Downs in. He could do that, but I don't think he's going to do that. So yeah, I would probably like to see Downs there. So you can just, he can play that defensive role, but Souček has that height when it comes to the last couple of games. I mean, look at the game against Crystal Palace. He arguably man of the match really for West Ham, which says something. He scored, he set up a couple in terms of flick-ons at the corners. That's the only chance I think we've got to get in something is on a corner, to be honest. But then again, as I said, I think it's only Newcastle conceding less goals than Man City, so it's going to be a tough task, whatever. But we found our mojo a little bit back with those in terms of the corners and set plays. So in the last few games we have scored more set plays, so that's why I'll keep him. And then on the right hand side, I think Emerson comes in. I think he's more suited to that left wing back role. I think being more attack minded. He could change this. He might take Bonner out. He might put Aguerd in the middle. He might put Cresswell as left of the centre backs in terms of the left sided. He might do. I think he'll go with Emerson. I just think Emerson has that. He's more of a natural left wing back, and maybe him pushing up. I mean, you know how City are; they tuck their fullbacks in and they play so they have almost like a two, and then the two fullbacks, cut inside, and they're playing as two midfielders. That's where it's going to be padded out. They're going to dominate the midfield. So have something like Emerson just there. I quite like the fact when he brings it forward, he actually plays in a similar way in terms of that. You watch him, most of his work is actually done in the attacking half, which is not bad for a defensive player. But I think he'll be playing in that position, and then Paqueta will play as the third man or as a 10 or whatever, drifting. They'll play three across the middle. We know they will. But with Paqueta giving slightly more of an advanced role, he may not play Paqueta. He may bring in Flynn Downs and really go defensive, or maybe even drop Paqueta and bring in a Fornals maybe. But I think he will. He tends to stick to his guns really with these types of things. And we all want to see squad rotation, but I just can't see it happening. Just can't see it happening. It's a shame because the likes of Flynn, I think, would come in and do a good job. I think Pablo would do a good job when you put him in the right position. I thought he didn't play well on Saturday, but then he put him in on the left side. And he's not a left winger. He's not a left-sided player like Benrahma is. He's a central player. And so that's where he should play. If anything, he could play on the right, but mainly on the, in the middle or play him alongside Declan Rice, same as Flynn Downs. Lanzini, I've heard calls for, but again, I just think he'll get overrun by Man City at the Etihad. So again, I'll be surprised if we see Lanzini make a start before, ever again in a West Ham shirt. In all honesty, the rumours are he's off to River Plate in the summer. He may well make cameo roles, but I can't see him starting. Just can't, unfortunately. And then in terms of sort of the attacking side, Bowen, I think, comes in. Personally, maybe this would be a game for me to maybe not even play Bowen, maybe giving Cornet a run out, and stick him up top. And for the few chances we can just kick it over the top, his pace could make a difference. I'm saying could because it means him staying onside being one thing. Secondly, controlling it. And thirdly, making the right decision. So there's a lot to play for when it comes to Cornet. But I just think with Bowen, he's been in a rich vein of form. But I'd rather play him against Man United, in all honesty, in a game where we've got more chance of getting something. I don't think we've got much chance of getting it. I think any West Ham fan is quite realistic when it comes to Man City away. And any team that you play Man City away, unless you really have a go at them. And I mean, Brentford did it, with a similar formation. But they really went for it. I just don't think we've got the ambition to do that, which is a real horrible thing to say, but I just don't think we have. I think we're eking out these points to make sure we've done just enough, maybe even with the least amount of effort, it seems. And that's why I think we probably won't pick anything up tonight. I think United we could do. I think Brentford we could do as well. I think Leicester we could do. I think Leeds we could do as well. Or Leeds and Leicester, sorry, the wrong way around. But I just think this game, and it's and then people, I've written on Twitter, I'll just put the kids out. No, do not put the kids out again. Did you not remember Nottingham Forest when Big Fat Sam put out the kids and they lost 5-1, 4-1, wasn't it? And I remember interviewing Sebastian Leggett, and he said it was so demoralising, because it was almost like we were put out to slaughter. And that's what they would do, I think, to be honest. And then the last piece, I think Antonio would, he would have a good. I mean, he's basically our only option at the moment. Danny's doesn't play in that position well. He can't play as that lone striker. The 5-3-2 or the 5-3-1-1. You see Bowen cuts inside a lot more. You could see Danny maybe given some time, and then Mickey brought on second half. But I think he'll try and get Antonio on and just try and just be a battering ram and see what happens with Ruben Diaz. And it's it's a horrible game. It's a horrible game today, and as I said, my heart would love us to pick up a point. My head says anything less than anything less than 3-0, and I think we've done a good job. I think we've played all right. We've got not played all right, but we've got away with it. We've seen teams turn us over. Brighton 4-0. Crystal Palace put 4 past us without even really trying, I think. The Newcastle game. So, if the stars align, we could get a battering. But I really think, again, I think City will just do enough just to win the game. Again, they've got some important games coming up as well. So I think they want to win the game to keep this momentum going in terms of their run, which has been phenomenal. But I just think there's I just don't think they're going to really go balls out. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to go balls out. They got a massive goal difference already. They've got us, and then they've got Leeds. Then they've got Real Madrid. So yes, they got Leeds on Saturday, then Real Madrid on Tuesday. So I think you'll see. I think they'll use. I mean, that's 2 winnable games for them. In all honesty, West Ham and Leeds. Then they've got Real Madrid. Then they've got Everton away. Then they've got the second leg at home, and then they've got Chelsea, Brighton away, Brentford at home, and then they've got the FA Cup as well. So I think there'll be a few squad players. We know KDB probably won't feature tomorrow or later on tonight, rather. So that's 1 down. There's about another 20 to get through before I think we might have a bit of a chance. But anyway, so let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know about the starting 11s, all that type of stuff. And we'll be back for the pre-match. We'll be back for the watch along, and then we'll be back for the dissection of the game. So take care, stay safe, stay warm. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Maybe become a channel member. We've got our first of 2 really good draws, one for May, one for June. That's what we're doing. The first draw on Friday for a signed West Ham 22-23 home shirt. Signed by the squad with certificate of authenticity, and there's another one for June. So, couple of quid being a member, you automatically get entered into that draw. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, keep the faith, my friends. Come on, you irons, and I'll see you in a few hours' time. Bye bye.